What's going on YouTube? Just out here working on our pack llama, the JT Gladiator. Just doing a quick tire rotation. Got some parts coming from Metal Cloak, but we're going to save that for another video. The video today is going to cover one of our most recent mods on Ruby, the JKUR. So a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, my wife said that she wanted a new radio for her JK. So we went with the Stinger Heigh10 radio. So just going to do a few quick things about things that I like about this system and things that I don't like about this system. I didn't do an install because Stinger has an amazing video for the install on this. It is fairly easy, just a lot of wires. I've only done one radio install before in my life before this, and that was years and years ago. Ended up doing this install myself. Car Toys wanted like $500 for the install, and I figured I'd save $500 and take care of this myself. Alrighty, so here we have the Stinger radio. First thing I want to say is the radio fits very nicely. The bezels and everything for this radio, it looks OEM. It fits really nicely. It's really tight and snug. Next thing I want to show is the vehicle info. So this is the Heigh10 radio. This is they got like 3 different levels. This one's the highest one that actually comes with the off-road pages. We'll get there in just a second here. But this Heigh10 radio, this one taps into a lot of the system, intercepts some of the signals. That way you can see all this sort of stuff. Got tire pressure gauges. Like everything works with the doors being open and closed. Gauges, you know, you can set all this up to read all of this information. You got your gauges. You got performance for 0 to 60 timers. You know, your tachometer and everything is tied in. You got your speedometer. Off-road pages, which is what my wife really liked. She loved that the JT came with an inclinometer, so she now has this for her vehicle. Parked in the driveway, so we are tilted up 6 degrees a little bit. Drivetrain, you know, everything with the steering wheel all tied in, and then transfer case and lockers and all that sort of stuff, sway bars, is all in there as well. So a lot of really cool features that are inside this Heigh10 radio that the OEM radio for this JK did not have. Radio does have your regular radio. You would have to buy an XM tuner, which we did. That way you can have your satellite radio. It does support Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but it is wired only. And it also has HDMI. So what it does is it replaces your cigarette lighter adapter down here. And this cap is still a little snug, but it changes out your cigarette adapter for your USB and then an HDMI in port. So you can actually plug things in, like, you know, maybe like the SNES Classic, you know, those little game console things. You can actually hook them in and play on this as well. Now this radio does support, I believe 4 or 5 cameras. It'll support a forward-facing camera if you have that. It does support your backup camera, your OEM backup camera. Which I use the OEM one. You can always buy an aftermarket one, so this is kind of a lower resolution camera, but if you bought the new high definition camera to go with this, you would have that as well. And then it also supports cameras that go on the left and right of your Jeep, and so when you turn on your turn signals and everything like that, you would activate those cameras. You're not restricted to putting the cameras in those places. You can have them underneath, and when you're off-roading and stuff like that, you can have those angles as well. The other cool thing about this radio is it does support your OEM radio controls, so the buttons on the back of the steering wheel still do work with this. I don't want to risk any sort of copyright claims by turning on the radio, but you can control the radio using your steering wheel as well. Overall, it is a really nice radio. It is super cool to have all these extra features and everything in this radio. But when we start looking at some of the negatives, you have things like, you know, if you go to radio or satellite radio or anything like that, I know the OEM radios and the Gladiators and the JLs and all that sort of stuff, and even any other car, they support album covers. So whatever artist is playing on the radio, it'll display that album, or whatever radio station you're on, it'll display those. The Heigh10 radio does not support those album covers. Now, for like satellite radio, if you plug in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay and you listen to the satellite radio through your phone, the album covers will show up, but just going through the radio itself, the albums don't show up, and I called them and it's just not supported. And so, I mean, if that's a big deal to you, that could be a big negative. Another negative about this is this radio is not IP rated, which means it is not waterproof. And a lot of people are curious about that regarding this radio, because if you take the top off your Jeep and you get stuck in a rainstorm, this radio is not designed to be exposed to the elements. So that is another negative. If that's something that you end up getting caught out in the rain a lot because you have your top off, you may want to consider some sort of tarp or something like that you can put over your dash here to protect the radio. So one of the other negatives on this is the interface is a little slow. So I mean, I should have the radio up already, and that does pop in there really quickly, but if we're switching to other things like satellite, you can see it takes a little while there. Switching over to phone, it can take a little while the first time it loads into some of these things. It does get a little bit quicker, but the first time loading into some of these menus, it can be a little slow. I did forget to mention one of the other things about this radio is it does have a microphone mounted right here. You can also use an external microphone, which I have right here, which I need to clip that back on there. But we use the external microphone on this one and it works just fine, but you can use the microphone in here. All these parts do come with this radio, so when you buy the radio, you have to buy the Heigh10 radio itself and then the mounting bracket that comes with it. When it's not on sale, this particular one with the off-road pages up here, this particular radio is right around $1,800. I know it's really steep. I did buy it during their February sale here, where they had this knocked down to like $1,400, and then you know, there's some military discounts as well that you can get with this. So I definitely didn't pay $1,800 for this. I was closer to $1,300 when I bought this radio. So it is not cheap. So that's another negative right there. This is not a cheap radio, but it is a great addition to the radio to replace the OEM radio that goes in here. So overall, my review of the radio is it's good. I mean, it's definitely worth the upgrade. You might not need the off-road pages for your uses and stuff like that, so you can buy the cheaper version. I believe the base version of this that still does have this large screen is right around $1,000, $1,100, right in that range when you can get it on sale. So if you are in need of replacing a radio, this could be an option. And just take a little bit of time to do the install yourself. Again, Car Toys right now, one of my other friends, his radio went out on his JKU, and he went and bought a $500 Kenwood radio through Car Toys, and they charged him $500 to install it, so that was $1,000. If you just buy the base version of this radio for $1,000 and do the install yourself, again, Stinger has an amazing install video for all of their radios, so just follow it step by step. I guarantee you can do this on your own and save that $500. So if you look at buying a $500 radio, paying $500 for install, but if you decide to do the install yourself, just take that $1,000 and buy the Stinger radio itself. For us, we do a lot of off-roading, so the off-road pages were nice, and that's one of the main reasons why we decided to upgrade. There's nothing wrong with our old radio, but it is super nice to have those off-road pages when we are on the trails. So if you have the money to buy this radio, I'd say definitely pick it up. You won't be disappointed. It does have a lot of other audio settings here. Let me see if I can get to those audio settings here real quick for you. So if you go into your sound settings and you come in here, those of you guys that are audiophiles, you'll see that it has, I believe, 16 settings in the equalizer versus the bass, mid, and treble, the factory ones. So that is super nice there. You can set up your own presets, or you can go into factory settings and select things for your factory, and then you can go from there. Those of you guys that are older like me that like to have your CDs still, that is a negative. This does not support a CD, an optical drive to play your CDs, so you are stuck using you know, any sort of streaming service on your phones in order to play your music. And then one more thing here is sometimes when the satellite radio loses signal, you get the no signal, and then when it comes back, it comes back. But every now and then with this radio, it does go to no signal, and see, it's working, but that no signal banner stays there, and it doesn't fix until you power cycle off and back on. So I don't know, it's not the end of the world. It's just kind of annoying to see that, but the radio still works. But anyways, guys, I don't want to drag this video on forever because it's just basically about your radio. I just wanted to cover some of the features and stuff like that. Questions that came up when I was when I had this. Lots of cool features. I mean, you know, you can set your radio, your satellite radio, your phone, your for phone calls, for your Bluetooth. You can set all of those audio settings to a default volume, or you can just set it up to just default to whatever your last setting was when you last used that particular feature on this. So you're not necessarily having to worry about jumping into your Jeep and you know, you had the volume cranked up and then it's 5 o'clock in the morning, you're getting ready to go to work, and then you're blowing your eardrums out because the radio is cranked all the way up. So you can set those defaults to go back to a lower volume if you want. Completely customizable. The background screen here, let me see if I can get background screen. You can change the image on the background here. You can upload your own images to lay in the background. So there are a lot of different features in here. Here's that slow load that I was kind of talking about, but you know, it has a bunch of cool default ones in there, or you can load some of your own custom ones into your radio. But yeah, I mean, if you have the funds to be able to spend an extra $1,000, $1,500 onto a radio, and you know, it's not going to bankrupt you or anything like that, definitely pick it up. If $1,000 is a lot of money for you, I'll tell you right now, $1,000 is a lot of money towards like a lift kit. So if you're torn between, hey, I want a new radio head unit, or if I want to do a lift kit, me personally, I'd say get the lift kit because you're going to have a lot more fun with that going off the trails. But this radio definitely is, it is an excellent upgrade. So like I said, if you can afford it, pick this guy up right here. Feel free to comment down below if you have questions or anything like that about something specific on this. I know sometimes looking for information on these Stinger radios, it could be a little hard to find an answer. So I have the radio unit in here. So if you have questions regarding this, feel free to comment down below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. The thing about this Heigh10 thing is it is fully integrated into your Jeep, and that way all of your features that you had with the OEM radios, you have them with your new radios. Even with the radio controls on the back of the steering wheel, you can actually program each of those. There's settings in here, and I haven't changed any of them, but you can reprogram the buttons to what they do inside the radio. But anyways, yeah, I'm running on here. Ultimately, I just wanted to give you guys a quick review of something that we just installed on this, hopefully answer some questions, and feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Hopefully the Metal Cloak stuff starts showing up for the JT over there. We do have trips to Moab planned again this year, and we got to hit a bunch of other trails here in Colorado that we haven't done for a while, or we haven't filmed. So stay tuned, guys. There's a lot of content coming. It was a little slow through the winter, but I'm trying to get this picked back up. Anyways, thanks for watching this part of the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.